I wonder how well they know each other. Because I've never crossed paths in my game before until this conversation. But they're co-workers and all that. Where are they, though? I might need to check the various entrances to this place to find them. I assume that Silas ran back home because he needs to get a weapon, because he was just on the gallows. I'm glad to know that he's good to go. The story's not planning on killing him off yet. At the very least, not gonna get like helplessly like slaughtered for a crime he didn't even commit, probably. Although he says he doesn't know, which is the most unnerving thing. Alcoholics worry me. I think blackouts might be like I'm not fond of the whole hey, I'll just behave out of character and do worrying things because I drink part of alcohol, but I'm especially worried about the concept of blackouts. Like, oh, I just won't know what I did. In addition to making mistakes, I won't know what the mistakes are. It's really chilling to have Silas say he doesn't know whether or not he killed someone. Not even like a probably not, like a straight up like, I don't know. The boat's gone, right? Yeah. I figured, hey, I'm nearby. I should say goodbye to those characters if they're around. But I assumed that they've long since left because they said they were supposed to leave the next day. I don't see them. And I've kind of checked the go-to spots. Maybe I meant to go deeper in. Like, go past the first enemies, head for the bone shore. Get ready for a fight. I really hope I don't have to watch Silas and Rollo die. Although it's pretty badass way to go out. You know those guys that threatened all of society and everything back in the day? Well, you guys took them out. Just the two of you. Good job. You two and a bard. Because all the assholes that actually run this place are too incompetent to even recognize the threat. Also, they all got taken out by one blacksmith, which is not really a flattering look on them either. Okay, I'm a bit concerned about how when they're nearby I can't even run. They drain your stamina outright. No. Stay away. Oh, that's a lot of green flame over there. Something tells you that once you go through there's no going back. Oh, there's Rollo. Oh, it collapsed behind me. Rollo! No, they're all hitting him and he's not fighting back.
Hurry, Mouse, the brisance. Take it to the chest. We have to shatter that crystal.
Jesus, there's a time limit. I'm just kind of running with the assumption that his pirate accent just comes back the moment I know he's a pirate. Mainly because I was kind of saying his lines and Silas is the same way. And I need that to not be the case once we hit the point where they're in the same scenes together. Where the fuck's the brisance? I thought it was over here. Also, I should be really worried about those guys. Are they just gonna blow me up? Oh, what the hell? The brisance is like hiding. Rollo, help! Oh god, Rollo, please. Rollo, please. No. Oh, wow, he missed. Okay. Bottle.
Mouse, get clear.
What can we do? There's so many of them.
Aye, you can see why they call it the Bone Shore. Damn that signal rat, where is he?
He'll be here, he swore it.
At least the two of us will go out fighting. 2. Make that 3.
It's about time, dude. I forgot the map button existed for a second there. Brisance, I need more Brisance. Alright, there we go. Fuck, fuck, fuck. Help, Silas. Yeah, Silas. He's got a sword. Oh, it's... I wonder if it's his dad's sword. That'd be kind of cool. It might not be, though. Where's Rollo? There he is. I keep checking on them because I don't want to find out that they're just dead somewhere. I'm worried that I'll look around and they'll just be gone. Like, oh, he died. That's the end of that character.
That's a fair hit, Mouse.
They'll not stay dead for long.
I'm going to take one last... It's going to take one last push. Hit it again.
That's a face I haven't seen yet. This is this game's equivalent of a boss fight. I guess it's fitting enough. I feel like they could do this way faster than me, honestly. Ow. Oh my god, that hurt. Alright. Alright. Shit. Whew. Yeah. We did it. And...
Tilo, are you alright? Are you hurt? Forget the mouse, help me close the chest.
Together the two rats heave the lid of the chest back onto its hinges. The smithy sets to work securing the locks.
Tilo, you were incredible. It was no too long. What are you two doing here?
We saw the battle from up on the ridge by the cave. We got here fast as we could.
Aye, we never run from a fight.
But we always arrive just after it's finished.
So, there's no treasure then. Tilo, damned fool mouse, I should wring your neck for what you've done. I kept that thing hidden 20 years. Gave up everything to keep it locked away, and now you... Captain. You? Auto powder keg, that's enough. I think the mouse is well aware of what just happened. Well, I'm still riled up about it all the same.
Is that it now? Is it over?
Aye, for now. For now, what do you mean? The crystals aren't the source of the flame, more of a channel for its power.
Then it isn't over.
No, the green flame is still out there, and far from beaten.
Did I just beat the game? Because everyone's lining up like I just beat the game. This is like the end of a BioWare game where all the cast of characters all get together to say goodbye. Oh. Oh yeah, put the bottle away, you lunatic. Well, I'm hurt, so I'm gonna have some food. Gonna get that honey I worked for. Whoa, honey's worth a lot. Damn. Have I ever actually consumed honey before? Do I have the charts, by the way? Prayer Scroll Shore Map. Are all of us gonna go on a journey together? Those two want loot. Silas maybe has a debt to me. Rollo's a pirate captain. Are we gonna get the frog back out, by the way? Also, is that dialogue box on the floor?
How goes it, Mouse?
Gusto, Fatale. He came back for me, although not very well.
Don't get mushy.
We never really left. We just need to pick up a few more things. Farewell, you two.
So, this is it then.
Wait, there was something I wanted to say.
Oh, what's that?
Farewell, you two.
You're really leaving this time?
Aye, I suppose so. Fatale gives you a fond embrace. Farewell, Tilo. Fatal. What? Give it back now. The mouse reluctantly hands you back your purse. What use are florins where he's going? Give him the other thing. Here. Fatal pulls the thief's whistle from her pack and presents it to you. In case you ever need us. You know how to find us, just whistle. At what range can you hear that whistle? Seriously, at what range? Are you still here? He's all talk, isn't he? You fought bravely, good mouse. I've been grateful for your guidance, my lady. And I am grateful to have been seen, good mouse. Do we really trust Fatal with it? Fatal, will you return this urn to Dunlane's tomb? Return? We're thieves. We don't put things back, we take them if we... He didn't ask you, Gusto. One question. Does Dunlane need all of these jewels? Silas's reactions are so great. I'll see it's done. I will rest then, beside my true love, Seith. Rest well, my lady. I promise you will not be forgotten. Farewell, good mouse. Tilo. May you find what you seek. Now I've patched this boat up as best I can. She's old, but she should keep you dry. The chest. What should we do to it with it? It needs to be taken far from here, buried deep, where it can never be found. It's me that brought it here. It's only right that I take it. You won't have to do it alone. Gusto and Fatal will help, won't you? What? Us? But... Alright. We'll see you as far as Pesa Road, at least. Scrunt? What's that? Nothing? Scrunt. I want to see these characters around each other more. They've never interacted, really, until now. You killed the jailer, didn't you? To protect your secret. To protect the chest, aye. To keep it hidden. You were going to let me hang for a crime you committed? I had made up my mind. Did you kill the smithy? I'm sorry for that. I've done my best to do right by him since. The money you've been collecting? Aye, for his family. Yet still he's dead. To keep this chest a secret, would you have killed me? Maybe, but I've become quite fond of you, mouse. I might have just cut out your tongue. Oh, so you've heard him sing then. Oh, I feel like we've been robbed by these characters not being together the whole game. In various configurations. I want to see these characters in a sequel all go off on like an RPG-like quest across the land as opposed to being stuck in one map, all separate from each other. Well, that'd be a lot more money, probably, to develop. I understand why you never left. You were watching over the treasure. Oh, I left. Got as far as the headland there before I turned back. What I saw in Periclave, what happened to my crew. A thing like that, it changes you. If that thing in the chest wasn't the green flame, where is it? You know the song of the Gilded Warrior? Sing it.
And so at last to Valia came, the army of the Emerald Flame. Their Periclave sheer walls stood line, with the last of every living kind. Then from the ranks rode Dunlane bold, astride salamander skin like gold. His courage stood, hearts froze with dread, and others went where Dunlane led. Yarlin and Nicto join the fight, black and white and blue as night. Bathed in the bright abyss's light, 12 rats face down the green flame's might. Then came the mighty clarion's call, and Dwindling Heights and Nicto all did summon forth a hurricane that quenched at last that dire flame. That quenched at last that dire flame.
It's a really good song. Like a really good song. It's almost like it's like the main song that is the crux of the entire game. Wow, there's a huge volume difference in music based on that tiny difference in the slider. There's your answer, Periclave. You'll find the green flame waiting for you there. Were they attacking Periclave? Have I been misinterpreting that song? I guess I didn't have the context for it. At the time, I assumed that Periclave was the location that was where the final group of people were all defending the last of mankind. Well, not mankind, but you know. And they were defending the sheer walls of Periclave against the green flame. But no, they were probably sealing away the green flame by attacking it. In fact, it was probably less Helm's Deep and more the battle of shit. Actually, the name doesn't come to mind as quickly. I think of like, oh yeah, Helm's Deep, Minas Tirith. Like, that was like, what was Sauron's place called? I lost it. I lost the name. But you know, the part where all of the heroes of Lord of the Rings all group up to attack that wall and so on, so Frodo can destroy the ring. That's probably what the Gilded Warrior song is actually describing. You'll find the green flame waiting for you there. What about Carold? I'd say your farewells if I were you, while you can. There's nothing more to be said, Mouse. I don't think he cared about Carold, apparently. Huh. Are you ready to go, Mouse? What will you do now? There's no going back, that's for certain. Silas, if I find Merra, I'm afraid... Afraid? Of what? Who I will find? Your true love, I'd hope. And a rebel. She took a stand, you should be proud of her. Don't let it be for nothing. Silas, I'm just a mouse. Tilo, I can't vouch for other mice, but there are few creatures braver than you. What if Merra isn't there? They say magpies never lie. Will you not come with me? And leave these three to deal with this? No, Mouse, the council must be warned. The green flame has returned. One day I'll be singing songs about you. I already have, technically. Well, let's see if I can give you something to write about then. Farewell, Silas. All ready to go? There's one last thing I wanted to ask you about. I'm listening. Unfortunately, there is not actually anything else. I'd love to talk about more. Farewell, Silas. That's it then. Aye. Thank you, Silas, for all you've done for me. I want you to have something. Here. The rat opens his cupped paws to reveal the scat beetle. Take her. Careful now. Keep her with you, if you ever need my help. She'll be able to find you? Given time, if I trained her right. Tilo, about Bryn. Don't forget him. Never. Silas hands you a scroll of waxed paper. Here, the charts for Periclave. Captain, let's get this boat launched. What? You really think you'll get to Periclave in that thing?
I have to try. I'll not lie to you, it won't be easy. But I've seen enough to know that nothing's impossible. Just head straight out, mouse, until the currents take hold.
You climb into the boat. Silas wades deeper, and with a gentle push, sends the boat out onto the lake.
You know, you're the shortest creature I've ever looked up to. Goodbye, my friend.
As your friends slowly fade from view, your thoughts turn again to Merra and Periclave, waiting for you beyond the horizon, shrouded in fog and mystery. Both made in equal parts of truth and hope, and memory and dreams. Little more than the ghost of a tale.
Oh, we get to see more really good art.
The rats, the two mice stealing the leg. Oh, they got it. They actually got it. Oh, well, we're going to be paying a lot of close attention to these credits if they're full of this kind of artwork. Oh. Oh, come on, that's brutal. An actual image of Tilo and Merra and Bryn, which we've never seen. Have we never? We've never even seen what Merra looks like before, have we? That's actually that's rough to see after all that. Yeah. Well, this is a really cool game. Mechanically, there's not a lot going on. Stealth mechanics and all that are kind of yeah. And beyond that, there's really not many other mechanics going on. It's mostly just run around the map, talk to all the characters, collect the items, that stuff. It's like in a lot of ways you could cynically say that it's like the fetch quests of an RPG and the stories entailed, without any of the actual combat usually in between, running around to one map. I do tend to get quite fond of games that take place in one complicated location, the Spencer Mansion as an example, and stuff like that, where you get to keep getting more and more familiar with the location as you run around in all those different directions and keep unlocking little extra facets of it, and then you just jam a lot of character and history into that place. And so that, I think this game makes up for its lack of gameplay by being like this heartfelt, well-told story with nice characters and so on. And it has an interesting backstory. The world itself is a place I want to spend more games in or read books about and stuff like that. Like I'm game for all that. And the characters and the dialogue is just fantastic. And even the songs are like these well-written things that add a bunch of texture to the world. They do two things really right there. Well, several things really right there. One, the songs are really, they're well played and well written and all that. So they're just good songs on their own, except for the one obvious exception. They each add texture to the world itself, in that they make they add history to the world. They contextualize certain things. But then they also have ones that aren't about lore and aren't about the world, but instead are about contextualizing and adding texture to individual characters. And that stuff's really good. When you're expanding on the characters themselves and making them better characters as a result of the songs, and in some cases getting the songs from the characters, that stuff's great. From like the Gusto and Fatale song is kind of silly and nonsensical because it's basically pro Gusto and Fatale propaganda, but I love I love that there's dumb things like the commander giving you a song and you end up hating that song about as much as you kind of resent him in general. I don't think there was a Rolo song really, was there? But there was. You get a chance to play for him at the one point at the very least. And there is the Heaven in a Bottle and stuff like that at least is a shanty. I do like that almost every song I think was like in a different genre or something. Like they had different styles entirely. And they did, and I think one of the just like how everything keeps going back to Silas because he helps you through the entire game and is a likable character. They keep expanding on him interestingly. He's almost unreasonably interesting because of the fact that he's so important to the world's story in certain ways, in a way that's contrived in a little bit, like a little overboard. But yeah, he's the escaped son. He just has a cool story in general. His whole backstory, his history. He's the escaped and forgotten son of a king that is despised for his cowardice. Which we have the additional texture of hearing from the magpie that when we mentioned that, so he doesn't know the truth then, which means that apparently Roderick, the king of the rats, must have had some additional thing going on that we don't understand. He might have gone out as a hero, and maybe no one knows what he did. But Silas resents him, as we know clearly from the fact that I sang that song to him, and then before we knew that I was singing about his father to him. And then he has direct connections to the Coward King and the Lullaby song and the Murder of Crows at the very least. There might be other connections I don't know about, because after he was estranged and abandoned. He grew up with mice and thought he was a mouse for the longest time, only to find out that people singing the racist anti-rat song to his face were doing it to mock him and other him before he even realized that he was an other, which is like a heartbreaking, horrible story for somebody's backstory, and also probably really relatable to a number of people that feel like that they themselves are othered in society for a dozen different reasons. It's actually one of those X-Men-like stories where you can use it as allegory for all sorts of minority groups that you'd want to substitute in there, as him being somebody that was being faced with prejudice before he even understood prejudice, and then learning over time that he was being mistreated by the people around him, and then learning the true context and all that. There's a horrible innocence being lost when you hear about his story about how he used to like the rhythm and the beat and the lyrics. Like he thought it was a catchy song at first until he realized that it was being used as a way of hating him. But he over time grew. He learned that he was a rat, and he went on this quest to reclaim his identity and his history, not being able to live among the people he grew up with eventually, but also not feeling at home with the people that he actually was a member of. Even that nice little comment of like how he had trouble losing his accent. He had trouble losing his accent because he grew up around mice speaking a different language entirely. So he grew up with the people that wouldn't accept him, and then had to go home to people that he didn't know. And then you discover more and more of his history for him, and ultimately, before that, there was still the period where while he was a younger recruit, he was a sergeant, and he was getting drunk for reasons we can largely understand because of the fact that he doesn't have a home and he has a horrible, guilt-ridden history. He has this drinking problem, and his drinking problem gets your child killed. Not directly. The other rats kind of get your child killed, but also, let's be honest, the spider killed your child. But he still blames himself for that because, as I was guessing earlier in the playthrough, Silas had to deal with your child dying in his arms, and he's not just like a random rat that just is kind of sympathetic to mice and being like, oh no, a mouse died in my arms, this is sad, and I'm kind of to blame for this, aren't I? No, he's somebody who grew up being taken care of by mice and has Lutkas before the mice in his family, and he had the experience of having a child like the ones he grew up with die in his arms, and that's some heavy shit that just, I'm sure, only helped his drinking problem. And that's all this shit happened before the game. That's a really good character story. Like, that's better than many or most of the characters in BioWare games or entire RPGs. Like, I wish that this kind of writing was available to me for many of the RPGs I've played, because I specifically specialize in playing RPGs all the time on this channel, and that kind of really interesting, intricate, emotional storytelling that is all like a series of history beats that both inform the world and also the character's motivation and why he is the way he is. Like, the number of layers going on there is way more than I'm ready for usually, and so that's some cool shit. And I think it'd probably be largely a tragedy if we never saw anything from this world again, a sequel or a spin-off or a book or something. But it does have an ending, but it's just so open for more, and I think everyone should want more. But, you know, it wouldn't hurt if whatever came next had more gameplay too. Maybe a game where you play as Silas, because he's separated entirely from Tilo here. You can make a future Tilo game where you play as Tilo with the same gameplay, maybe, but I think Tilo would have to step it up on some level and be more resourceful and combative, because if he's going to the place that the Green Flame are from, I don't think he can just do what he did with all these stupid, incompetent rat guards, what he did all this game. He'd probably have to be a bit better if he made his way there. It's very possible he just dies. It's very possible we never hear from Tilo again, and he just dies on his quest to find his wife, who he realizes he didn't fully understand or know, but still loves and has a shared history with in tragedy, and wants to find, and would apparently risk everything to find. And he could just fail, as many people have in these stories. Dwindling didn't save Seith. Seith fell to the Green Flame, and then Dwindling killed them. That's how that story ended. That's the tragedy of their history. All for Dwindling to then be this weird, guilty, false hero that everyone heaps all the praise of the victory on this one figure. And that figure isn't even the one that they don't even feel like they were ultimately responsible for the victory. And history remembers them as a hero instead of the person that person thinks is the hero, while forgetting their lover, and also not even remembering their gender. Like, there's so many good details. If I were to pick a weak spot, might be Gusto and Fatale. I don't know. Nah, they're comic relief. They don't have the most interesting story, and so, like, when you have all these emotional beats for all these different characters, like, and Gusto and Fatale are also here, and they're fun, which is fine. They were funny and amusing, and another ongoing alternate perspective to deal with. Especially fun that specifically they have an antagonistic relationship with the other characters that you interact with, and they have some very good dialogue at the end of the game, which is, once again, like, it's just a bummer that you couldn't spend more time with these characters as an ensemble, because they are clearly a good one. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. I almost didn't play this game. I almost let it pass by, and I'm glad I went back for it. It's been a while, but we'll be playing a new indie game next. Thanks for watching, like always, guys, and I'll see you next time. And singing all those songs was a lot of work. That's all of it. Also, can we just appreciate for a second that this game full of, like, heartfelt characters and narrative arcs and all that other shit also took the time to dedicate an entire song to the concept that there's a fucking rat with, like, a monster dong that's so big that I mean, listen to that one line. The line is, he may not be a badger, but he's certainly male. That's not just the fact that he has a dick, but that it's so big that the fucking badger queen is like, yeah, this is just as good. You know, do you know how much bigger a badger is than a rat? And then I'm just wondering, like, does the fur normally cover it? Or like, is poor Tilo just like mentally blocking out like the amount of like rat dick that's like 5 feet away from their face at all times because they're like at the exact height of like that part of the rats the entire game? And like, how does this work? Anyway, here's the last song.
For 14 days the emerald fire laid siege to royal Pace's spires. In the distance black smoke billowed as the wheat fields burned like funeral pyres. The mice had sworn to hold the pass, vowed till their allies could amass. They would not waver from the fight, but courage failed them at the last. And so before the hold was laid, a goblet carved of finest jade, a tribute to the green flame's might, in hopes its ire could be assuaged. But the treachery was all for naught. There was no bargain to be bought. The goblet was a poisoned cup, and from its sorrows flowed.
Hey, if you're looking for more games that flew under the radar largely, but have some like strong writing or characters or just writing, either way, some of them have really good characters, some of them are just really snappy dialogue, different things. I just want to recommend a few things to you real quick, since I've got your attention and you're maybe in the target demographic of all that. So more recently I played a game called Scheming Through the Zombie Apocalypse. Very short. It's got a cliffhanger ending of sorts, because it's like, this is part 1, and there will presumably be more of them in the future, because this one's literally called Scheming Through the Zombie Apocalypse part, the beginning is what it's called. So I guess there'll be more in the future. It's 2 people in the zombie apocalypse that are just inept as all hell at actually dealing with the whole zombie situation. They're also quite lazy, frankly. So they try to figure out how to emotionally manipulate people into doing the zombie apocalypse surviving for them. It's actually it was really funny. It was just really funny, snappy to read through. Had a fun time with that. I also have Legendary Gary. It's about a guy who's this sort of not in the happiest place dude in his 20s, surviving in normal society and having various problems of his life and dealing with motivation and familial problems and relationship problems, while also playing a video game where he basically faces off against his inner demons and other problems he has in life in the video game's form, and then goes back into the life and goes back and forth between the two analogous realities to deal with problems in both of them. And that was just a fun, unique thing, and I feel like no one's even heard of Legendary Gary, so I'm just throwing it out there again. A few years ago, I played a game called Zenith. It's a terrible video game, and it's just a bad game. But it's a bad game that's just so well written. It's a text-only game that made me genuinely laugh. I mean, it's not literally just text. It's a 3D game, but I mean, like, it's not voiced. And it made me genuinely laugh a lot of times, and it also had this intricate, well-written story full of like Chekhov's guns and character development and stuff like that. Like, it was all like shockingly good, more good than it had any right to be. And so I wholeheartedly recommend this in Let's Play format, so it's worth checking out. In case it wasn't clear, these are all on Steam, but I've also Let's Played all of them, so check them out on my channel if you don't want to buy them. I recommend these are gems I want to shine a light back on, because some of them are forgotten, especially the older playthroughs that people don't really have any reason to look up anymore. Zenith was such a gem. Just the whole part where you play the video game is not good. Then there's also Masquerada, Songs and Shadows. A top-down CRPG, not of the traditional sense, because it's not an open world. It's a series of linear scenes that all happen in a row together, where you do the CRPG combat and then do a bunch of dialogue. But it was good dialogues and characters and world. Lots of dense world building and character development in a relatively short RPG experience. Check those all out. Scheming Through the Zombie Apocalypse, Legendary Gary, Zenith, Masquerada, Songs and Shadows. Check them out. Just pointing you at other stuff you might want to try. They're in different ways tangentially related to this game, and some of them stronger than other ones, but, you know. Anyway, see you guys next time.